Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69 and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a look at a tank, a blast from the past. A lot of you won't even remember this tank. This was the Mark 1 Heavy. It is an event tank that came for about a week to mark the 100-year anniversary of the war. And a lot of people were playing this. Now, this tank was given to people for, as I said, a week. And a lot of people now that had the tank back then, they didn't manage to ace it. And they are gutted because apparently it's never coming back. Is it going to come back? Will it ever come back? I hope it does. I really hope it does because it was a fun tank to play. Will they be able to bring it back? Now, the tank is actually quite crazy. Against all the tier 1s, it has the hit points of pretty much tier 3. And it's a stupid looking tank. It has no armor whatsoever. Literally like 15 on the turret on the front and 0 on the side and the rear. But it came into an event where it was a 7 versus 7 and it was only the Mark 1 versus Mark 1. So you'd never get into a matchmaking with any other tank. And it made it more interesting because you just see 14 of these running around Fort Despair, and because that was the only map it was on as well, and it was quite fun. It is quite fun. Now, I went up against one of my friends in training rooms. I've still got this tank. On my press account on NA, I still have this tank, which makes me think, like, will Wargaming ever bring it back? Because why is it still there? It's you're looking at my press account now, like it is still there. Now the DPM is actually really good at 800. The reload is 6.2 seconds on the tank. The penetration 57, the damage it does 90 damage per shot. It has 550 hit points. Now that is way over double. That's more, as I've said, that's more than I think some tier 3s. So absolutely crazy amount of hit points. But back then when this was released, it was just normal. It was just normal. You couldn't really compare it to any other tier 1s because it was never up against tier 1s. Now, it is a stupid looking tank, but it's unique. It's unique to Britain. It's unique to the war. And it is the Mark 1. I've seen this up close at Bovington. They got one at Bovington. And it is crazy to see, and I'm glad Wargaming did an event like this to mark that 100-year anniversary. But would you guys want to see this back? Would you guys want to see this back for another event? Why not? I mean, Wargaming can do it because the tank is still implemented into the game. This is me driving it right now. So they can do it. They just need to do it in a way where it's either they nerf it. I mean, look, this is up against another tier 1, 270 hit points. I've got 550, so basically double the hit points than another tier 1. And of course, it's a heavy tank. I think it's is it the only heavy tank in tier 1? Everything else is like light tanks and mediums. I think mainly light tanks in tier 1. But the traverse is pretty good. The traverse is pretty good, and of course, if you can ram a tank, it is quite heavy, so you'll do quite a lot of damage. And of course, Tony here, who is helping me on NA, patron of mine, really good friend of mine, helped me get this footage. And so I said to him, you know, take a tier 2, 424 hit points. Now I am using the hit point buff to give me more hit points, and of course, because it is a tank which was in the past, Wargaming haven't changed it, so it still has 2 loadouts. It has AP and it has HE, even though the HE is like 7mm or something stupid like that. They've kept the loadout. Now, I am unable to join a main battle with this. Of course, it was only implemented to join a battle on Fort Despair with these kind of tanks. So joining a game, I don't think I'm allowed anyway. I've never really tried, but I don't think it works. But I am allowed to take it out in training rooms because why not? It's a tank that's been released. If it's in training rooms, it's not hurting anyone. And previously, Wargaming have said, yeah, training room. Why not? Why not get footage of it in training room? So I thought, you know what? It's been 4 years since this tank was released, and it's been 4 years since I did a video on it, and that's why I thought, you know what, when I was looking at it, I think I done it on a stream with Fizzy, went into a training room just to show people, because many of you guys would not have seen this tank unless you was in the game 4 years ago. But a lot of my subs are fairly new, sort of between 1 and 2 years in the game, so they would be looking at this tank thinking, what the F is that? But it was a fun little event. It only lasted a week. And the thing is, Wargaming, when is the last time? When is the last time Wargaming did an event like this? I think it actually was this event. I don't think I've ever played an event where it is just 7 of the same tanks versus 7 of the same tanks, and they take the tank at the end of it. The only other tank like that was the T49A, but that joined a proper matchmaking, but they just took the tank away after the event. Now, this was my video. This was my video 4 years ago on the tank. And as you can see, there is just loads of them. There is a load of them. Mark 1 heavy tanks, 7 versus 7. But it made the matchmaking interesting. It made the game interesting because it didn't really matter who you come up against. It doesn't matter if you come up. It didn't matter if you come up against a 40% player, or it didn't matter if you come up against a 50 or 60% player, because you've got no armor. You're not bouncing anything. If you bounce, then you're lucky. So it doesn't matter who you come up against. So at this time, this was around the time where I started chasing aces, and I thought, you know what, I want to ace 100% of my tanks. So doing that, I knew I had to ace this tank. I had to ace it because I knew that Wargaming were going to take it off me. So I just played it, and I don't think it took long. I think it took 6-7 battles for me to ace it, and this was the ace. So what I wanted to do, because I'd had a few games before, everyone went to the same position, to the left, where everyone else is going. But as you can see, I've decided, you know what, I'm going to get behind them. I'm going to get behind them because I was getting frustrated because I was just getting ripped apart. As I've said, you've got no armor whatsoever. So I wanted to pretty much go on my own, because if I get ripped apart, if the team are here, then, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. It's an event. These events did go on to your stats, of course. I needed the ace. It goes onto your battle. You can actually see this tank if you go onto my played tanks. You can actually see this tank on the list. But I just want Wargaming to do more of these. Why haven't they done? Why has it been 4 years since they've done an event like this? Why can't they do that? Why can't they bring an event like the T49A back, where it is just T49As versus T49As? And again, some of you might not have ever seen a T49A. That was the first missile tank in the game, which was completely broken. If you thought the Sheridan was broken, you never played the T49A. That was the most broken tank ever to be implemented into the World of Tanks Blitz. You think the Keniotsu is broken? You never played the T49A. That thing with the missiles would amarak 3 tanks. 3 tanks, 2 minimum per battle. And it was a tier 7. You would come up against tier 8s, no problem. Just switch to the heat and bang. Amarak. It was fun. I've done past streams on the T49A. Just look at my past streams on the T49A or past videos on the T49A, and you'll just see, like, without a fail, at least you'll get an Amarak. Probably 2, maybe even 3. I've had 4 Amaraks in one game before. When I've been in a platoon, we've had 6 in one game. Wargaming need to do something like this again. They need to do an event like this. Why not bring this back out? Yes, it's not 100 years, but maybe it's coming up 105 years. I don't know. Does it matter if it's 100 years? Just bring it into the game for a little event again, or bring a new tank, another tank. Let us have these kind of events again. People like these events. They're good. It just takes away the normality, if you like, which is why people like the normal the mad games and stuff like that, because it's something different to your normal mode. However, mad games and stuff doesn't go towards your battle count, or if you play a tank in mad games, you can't ace it. I definitely want Wargaming to bring these kind of tanks back, these kind of events. We are missing them. I mean, I know we get the the battle pass tanks and stuff like that, but you still have to pay for them. Where are events like the Anko, where you win the Anko or the Kuromoni Mini, where you just have to win 50 battles and you get a tank? Where are these kind of events? I hope Wargaming does decide to bring this tank or any other tank back in an event like this, but we will see. It is still in the game, so you never know. It's possible, you never know. So that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'm Minty, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.